I hope my hair is good. I really don't have time to fucking fix in it to look cute on the video. So, recently you've been making progress. You know, life was good. But unfortunately, it doesn't really matter what method of progression you use, what exercises you use, how often you train, what split, etc. Sooner or later, you will hit stagnation. Progress will just stop. That happens for everyone. It's completely normal. However, what is not normal is how most people react to it. Some people just increase their volume to a sky high level and hope that that will break the plateau. And don't get me wrong, increasing your volume, it's like the most basic and one of the best options to break through stagnation. However, guys who have been repeatedly using just that method sooner or later just get to the point where the volume is so fucking high, where doing even more volume is just compromising their technique, their general quality of reps, or their fucking mental health. So if you do a lot of volume right now and you don't think you could handle more volume with adequate quality, then increasing volume is probably not the best option for you to break through that plateau. Other people start taking various supplements in the hope of finding that magic pill that will break their plateau. And honestly, it's one of the most stupid things you could do. I mean, creatine is proven to work, but it's not proven to work that effectively to be able to break through plateau. It just doesn't work that well. And other people just start taking excessive amounts of rest, which I believe is the best option because most people in the gym just do too much. But again, there are people who take it to the fucking extreme and take like a week or two full off from any kind of training. So in this video, I just want to give you a complete system that I have created that will let you troubleshoot your specific situation so you know exactly what you have to do in order to break through the current stagnation. It doesn't matter what exercise you're doing, it doesn't matter what split you use, it doesn't even matter how advanced you are. This system applies to everyone. This is why I'm so fucking proud of it. So before we get to my system, you need to understand the three core principles of strength training. This is very important, so don't skip that part. This is very simple, so it will take just one watch to understand it for you. So without further ado, the three rules of making progress are: 1. Having progressive overload. This just means providing more stress each following week. So this is the most basic rule. I hope everyone is familiar with it, so I'm not going to go further into it. Second rule, enough recovery between training sessions. The stronger we get and the more muscle we build, the longer and the more care we have to apply to our recovery. Simply because when we have bigger muscles and we are stronger, we just create more damage and the area of that damage is larger. So naturally, we just need more quality recovery when we get stronger and when we build more muscle. So that is why it is so important to constantly assess whether you are resting enough in your training program. And the third rule, incorporating variety. Our body can literally get numb, build tolerance to various training qualities. For example, training threshold, how many reps and sets you're doing, what exercises you're doing, even what method of progressively overloading you're using. Our body can adapt and build tolerance to all of these methods. That is why it is so important to just provide that variety on a regular basis, so our body constantly has to deal with different kinds of stress that it hasn't yet adapted to. So these are the three rules of making progress. And once you know them and understand them, we can finally proceed to the magic system that I have created for basically troubleshooting why you plateaued. So I present you my epic progress blueprint. I really don't like naming stuff. So basically, don't get overwhelmed. I know it is kind of complicated, but we will slowly go through every single one of those variables. So as you can see in the top here, there are our three rules of progress, so you don't forget about them. Let's start by picking an example. Let's say our goal is to increase our bench press 1 rep max. We are beginners, so we don't really want to do some 1 rep max training because this is basically peaking and we first want to build a solid base. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, watch my last video, it's somewhere around here. So to increase our bench press, we will do a simple double progression with a rep range of 6 to 10. That basically means on every single training session we really strive to do 10 reps of bench press with a certain weight for a couple of sets. And when we reach 10 reps, we increase the weight slightly so that we fall back to 6 or 7 reps, and we strive again to reach 10 reps. And we basically repeat that cycle. That is called the double progression. Very simple stuff. So let's start from the beginning. Did I progress? Yes, let's say we did see nice progress for a couple of recent workouts, and on our last one we did 10 reps with 80 kg with an RPE of 8. That means we had 2 reps in reserve by the end of the set. Did you have more than one solid rep in the tank? The reason I put that here is because we very rarely want to train to a complete muscular failure. I would recommend only doing that on isolation movements that only use one joint, for example bicep curls, because going to absolute failure is very taxing for our whole body, for our nervous system. And when we do it with such simple movements that use only one joint, it is not that bad, and at the same time the hypertrophy is slightly better. So that is why I recommend going to the absolute failure only on simple isolation exercises that only use one joint. And on compound movements, I would really recommend staying at least one quality rep from failure on every single set you do. But if you really know what you're doing and you use RPEs higher than 9, then do that at your own risk. I hope you're advanced and you really know what you're doing. So let's say our RPE was 8, so we had 2 reps in the tank and we still made progress, which is the perfect situation. And since we already reached 10 reps with 80 kg, we increase the weight to 85 kg. On the next workout we will likely get 6 reps with 85 kg and the RPE will be somewhere around 8.5, which is still good. It falls into our rep range and we stayed below the RPE of 9. So let's say on our next workout we're really motivated, we really want to reach the end of that repetition range, so we get 8 reps with 85 kg, but the RPE this time is 9, so we pushed a little bit too hard. So on our question, did you have more than one quality rep in the tank, we have to say no. So what does the system say to us in this situation? Have you already maximally decreased the progression rate? So what does that mean? So it basically means whether a smaller progression jump is possible to us. So as you can remember, we do a system called double progression, and we increased the weight recently from 80 to 85 kg. And we went from 6 reps to 8 reps, so we progressed by doing 2 reps. Basically a smaller progression jump, yes, it is possible. We could just progress by 1 rep instead of progressing by 2 reps, as we did this time. So we pick the option no, and we decrease our progression rate to only 1 rep, so that our RPE can hopefully fall back under 9. I really hope you're following along. This is a bit complicated, but if you get lost at any part, just rewatch that certain part, because it's very important that you just understand the whole thing. So on our next training session we strive to do only 1 rep more, which means we strive to do 85 kg and 9 reps. However, unfortunately, for some reason, our progress has really slowed down this time, and doing 9 repetitions with 85 kg takes us to the RPE of 9.5, so really close to failure. So we go through our system again. Did you have more than one solid rep in the tank? No. Have you already maximally decreased the progression rate? Yes. So where does this take us? It asks whether we felt fully recovered and ready before the training session. This is an extremely important question, and if you're actually not sure whether you felt fully recovered before a training session, you should pick no here, because if you would be completely recovered, you would certainly know it. You would just be very full of hype, very motivated to train. It would just feel completely different. So if you're not sure, maybe you kind of felt a bit sluggish, maybe caffeine didn't work as good for you as it usually does, definitely pick no here. So let's say we didn't really feel very hyped up and motivated. So in this case we pick no here. And the next question is, do you train hard regularly, at least for the last 3 weeks? Let's say that we train really hard for the last 2 weeks, and before that there was a deload week. So we have to pick no as an answer here. As you see, if we would pick yes on that question, it would tell us to do a deload week. And I basically put that question right here because there are many people who, even though they train at like RPE of 8, they put a lot of volume into their workouts. And if you do that repeatedly for weeks, and if you train, for example, 4, 5, maybe even 6 times per week, you really need a deload week once in a while, which basically means a full week where you're doing really light training sessions. So if your progress basically really slowed down and you really didn't feel recovered fully between a training session, and you have been training for the last 3 weeks pretty hard, at least 3 weeks, then it basically means you should take a deload week, and there is a chance of like 99% that it will solve your problem. But in our case, we did train for only 2 weeks lately, so we pick no here, and it basically tells us to incorporate one more rest day into our routine. Basically, if you can't really make progress, at the same time you don't really feel like fully recovered and hyped up before a training session, but you have been training for less than 2 weeks recently without a deload week, that basically means you're having too little rest between individual training sessions. Let's say in our case we progress the bench press every third day on Monday and Thursday. So that's 72 hours of rest between every workout. And we also did a lot of other accessory exercises and isolations. So it definitely can happen that 72 hours will be just too little for us to fully recover between workouts. So we decide to start resting for 96 hours every single time. You could say that it's a lot, but obviously we don't do only these 2 workouts. We also, for example, we could have a split of push and pull. So we have 3 full days of rest between the push workouts, and we could also have 3 full days of rest between pull workouts. Push, pull, rest or legs, then another rest, and repeating the cycle, push, pull, legs or rest. So let's say that fixed our progress. We start progressing nicely again. On the next workout we did 85 kg for 10 reps with an RPE of 8.5. So it's perfect. We made nice progress by 1 rep and our RPE is below 9. So let's say we were progressing nicely for like a week or maybe 2 even, but suddenly we hit like 90 kg for 8 reps on one day and the RPE is 9 again. And because we have been already training for more than 3 weeks pretty hard, we don't really feel fully recovered before our training sessions again, we decide to take a deload week. So we decrease both the training intensity and training volume to like 50% for a full week, so 2 training sessions basically. After that we feel really good again and we are just ready to start progressing again. So we start by doing 90 kg for 6 reps, because it's always good to take a little step back after each deload. And we quickly progress to 90 kg for 8 reps in the matter of like 2 workouts. However, it turns out that even though we feel really good and hyped up before each training session, we still find it hard to make progress even by 1 rep, the least possible progression jump. So what happened now? Why did the progress stop again? Let's look at our system. So when we answer yes to the question whether we felt fully recovered and ready before the workout, it tells us to incorporate variety. So what does that mean? If you've been doing a specific exercise, a specific rep range, and a specific method of progressive overload for a longer period of time, it's very likely that your body has already adapted to it and basically built tolerance to those things. It no longer wants to give you adaptations, give you progress with these same training variables, if that makes sense. So literally the only reason why you might not progress here is because you constantly deliver the same kind of stress to your body. So the easy way to fix that is just start delivering a different kind of stress to your body. So you have 3 options here how to do that, and I wrote them below, and the best is to just combine 2 or 3 of them at the same time. So the first thing you can do is just switch the exercise to another exercise with similar pattern of movement, or just switch the variation. It basically means that if we were doing like bench press, we could switch it to like close grip bench press. It would be a different variable which would immediately deliver a different kind of stress, or we could change the exercise completely, for example to weighted dips. The second thing you can do is modify the training threshold. So as you remember, we were doing a simple double progression with a rep range of 6 to 10. We could basically change it to a different progression pattern, for example a double progression of the rep range 3 to 5 or maybe 10 to 15, or use a completely different progression scheme other than double progression. For example, we could even introduce a simple linear progression with very small increments. You could buy some microplates and increase the weight by just 1 kg on every single training session while doing the same fixed amount of reps. This is also a completely different method of progressively overloading. And it would definitely just provide a different kind of stress to your body, which would definitely fix your progress in that case. So as you can see, there are really a lot of options, and it's actually really fun to just experiment with them. And as I said, the best results come when you combine 2 or maybe even 3 of these variables. I'm actually like very happy when I see that my body has already adapted to like a certain exercise, because that basically means I can change things up, which is very exciting, at least for me. And I know it's like very easy to overcomplicate this stuff right here. You might not know what exercises you should switch to, which are the most optimal, what progression scheme would be the best for you, but the best advice I have for you is to just stop overcomplicating it. The most important thing is that you just have as much of a difference of the kind of stress as possible. So just pick other training variables that are just as different as possible from the stuff you are currently doing, and it will, I guarantee you that it will make you start progressing again if that was your particular problem, if you found yourself in this specific spot in my system. So again, what matters is that you just provide a different type of stress, and as long as the stress will be high enough, you will get stronger and bigger. This is just guaranteed. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope I managed to explain this stuff for you. It took me a few hours to create that system, so, and if I had that in the beginning of my training like 5 years ago, bro, I will be in a completely different place. So please take it seriously. I really want to help people, because like, if I imagine myself when I started training, I was making so many fucking mistakes, and if I knew when I started training, if I knew exactly the stuff I know now, like as I said, right now I would be in a completely different place. Maybe I would even be like on a fucking competitions, maybe like like national champion or some shit. Literally, this is how powerful this knowledge is. So if you are experienced in strength training programming, just 5 years is enough for you to gain like elite levels of strength. So I really took a mission to myself, like a purpose in life, to just educate new lifters so they can just make as much progress in as little period of time, because I just know how much it changes your life. Bro, after I went through my transformation of training, my life changed dramatically. Like, I was a fucking loser back then, you know? And right now I'm still kind of a loser, but at least someone watches me on YouTube, so I hope it's not that bad. So yeah, I hope that video helped you. So now I want you to help me. And basically how you can do that is write a comment below what part of training is like the most complicated for you. What part of the strength training programming you really don't understand as much as you would like to. Because if I know what the majority of people's problems are, then I just know what I should focus on this channel, so that people can make as much progress in as little time as possible. So please do that. Please write a comment below what... No, as I said, I won't repeat myself. So see you in the next video. There is a lot more content coming on this channel. I'm not stopping, even though I go to college in some time. I will still be banging out those videos, maybe a little less edited because I won't have as much time, but you can trust me, I will still provide knowledge, I will still give advice, so stay tuned for that basically. Peace out.